The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan.
Jason! Jason! Jason!
Shall we play a game?
Player to another.
All right, welcome to another episode of Nude Clan. Yeah! All right, I am Caleb Craig.
I am Caleb Schweiss.
Remember, it's clockwise. I am Joseph DeGolier, and today we're going to...
Bosch von Rotzenberg of Dalmasca.
Yes, Vaughn is on the show today because Cam couldn't make it.
Yeah. Of course, today is our review of Heavy Rain. This is a game that I played back in the day, back when you guys were... I think right when I got you guys
we
into
were wee little lads.
Yeah, you guys were just little kiddos.
Boys.
I think it was the night that I got everybody to download League of Legends. I think I got you to download it, and that was the night I finished the game.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the end of my life.
Yeah, that was a time sink motherfuck of a game.
I've spent so many fucking hours in League of Legends and I never got really that much better.
All for nothing, basically.
God.
I've spent even more, and I'm not even that good, so...
You didn't even get past, what was it? It was Silver 5?
Silver 3, I got into 3.
Oh, you got into 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember you were in Silver 5 for a long time.
The problem is, if you don't play, it degrades, so it gets worse and worse. So
My friend Scott is in gold.
He's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Scott's definitely decent at the game.
I miss that guy. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, ever since that party.
Yeah, well, the guy who threw that party, our mutual friend Dylan, not Dylan who was on the episode, but a different Dylan. Dylan's a very popular name around here, especially. I don't know if it is for in your neck of the woods. Yeah, he was a mutual friend of mine and Scott's, and ever since Dylan went away, I haven't seen Scott. So they were like best friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So
Jeez.
it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's a game I haven't played for years, though. I mean, I haven't touched Heavy Rain. I have a copy of it somewhere. I don't know who has it. Greg claims it's not him, but...
Dude, I swear to God, I don't have it.
I'm going to have to come down there, and I'm going to look.
All right.
Not that I don't believe you.
I just checked this morning again. I don't have it.
Okay. It's not that I don't trust you. It's that I don't believe you.
So do you just not have the disc?
Fuck
you have
you.
you have the case, or just nothing?
Nothing. None of it.
Okay, there is a possibility that I might have borrowed it and it's in my storage.
Oh, on the PS3?
There is a possibility. I'm not promising it, but I have a feeling. I have this memory of me borrowing Heavy Rain from someone. I thought it was Dylan, and I never played it.
Oh, it might have been me then.
It might have been you, but I'm not making any promises, and I don't there aren't that many games, so if I don't find it, it's not there.
Well, yeah, because I was thinking maybe I'll run through it while you guys were playing this week. I was thinking, I could, but then I was looking for it, and it wasn't there. I'm not going to go buy it again because I already own the damn thing. So I was like, another time.
Yeah. Well, let's real quick. What has everyone been playing besides me playing Heavy Rain, of course?
Is Heavy Rain the only thing you were playing this week?
No, it's not, actually. I actually played quite a few games this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but we'll go with you first.
All right. So this week I've been playing some more Destiny, some Overwatch. I got Lego Batman 3 on the
Nice.
on the sale. So I've been playing that. It's pretty fun. And then
Steam sale or
no,
PlayStation sale?
PSN had a E3 sale, and it was like $6.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
So, yeah, they had what was it? What was the other one? It was Lego Marvel, but I didn't pick that one up. I just got Batman. And then I also have been playing Mighty Number 9.
What is Mighty Number 9?
Mighty Number 9.
Is that like Mambo Number 5?
Yes, it is a lot like that, except for nothing close to it.
Mighty Number 9.
I think there's a voice that says it kind of like that in
Nice.
the game. Yeah. But yeah, it's like a Mega Man ripoff game. Like, it is trying.
Is that what I watched you play on Twitch?
Yeah.
I thought that was Mega Man.
No, that's not Mega Man.
Are you
it's
serious?
It's a game that looks a lot like Mega Man.
It looks
and
exactly
tries
like
to be
Mega
Mega Man,
Man.
but it's not Mega Man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's like copyright infringement close.
You know what? There's a lot of hate on that game too. Like, I was told the other day that, like,
Well, I saw you getting pretty frustrated with it, so I just assume that it stems from that.
Well, a lot of the hate towards it, I guess, is that like a lot of people, like, critic-wise, have been thinking that it's not that great, and I've seen people give it like a 5, and then
So they say.
and then also there was, like, I guess a lot of shit going on with it, like, on Kickstarter, because, like, it was a Kickstarter project, and
Did they not like come up with their goals and shit?
oh no,
like that?
they surpassed it. I think they got $4 million.
I mean, like
Whoa.
giving it.
Yeah,
to the,
$4 million for a Mega Man game, and
You
it
guys.
kind of looks like shit.
You guys, we got to start a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like look at the game, it doesn't really look all that great. I mean, it looks like it has the the graphics of like something on an iPhone or, you know, something like that's.
I thought it looked like early PS3 sort of ish.
Yeah, it's
But it was cartoony, so I didn't like cartoony stuff. Doesn't seem to like the graphics don't really matter as much.
yeah, that's true. But they
To me.
they could have cleaned it up more. It looks kind of weird.
Okay, well, I only saw your Twitch video, so I judged it
Yeah.
from that and whatever degradation that comes through. I don't see what you're seeing.
Yeah.
I thought it looked okay. I thought it was another Mega Man game.
and then I guess there was something else about like one of the like backer or not a backer, like one of the guys working on it that had said that we were lucky to even get the game like as it is. So
So
I
they're
don't
kind
know.
of
So-
douchebags about
yeah,
it.
so like they did. It just didn't seem like anybody cared about the project, even though they got like $4 million to make it.
So why'd you buy it then?
I got it because it was a game that
He
a lot
loves
of
Mega
people.
Man?
Well, I love Mega Man. And it was a game that a lot of people had shown interest in, so I figured, you know, I'd get it, stream it, and have a few people watch it. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Awesome. I have been playing. Did you beat any games this week?
I have not beat anything this week.
Did you, Joe?
I beat Heavy Rain.
Nice. We'll have to add that as soon as the hog begins.
Yes.
I've been playing Doom 2. I finished that up earlier in the week, and then I started Doom 3. Much slower game than the original two Dooms. I can see why people were like, ugh.
Well, it was like action game to horror.
Yeah, I really love Doom 3. I have no problems with Doom 3, but it is not the same as Doom 1 or 2. The PS3 reboot, I can have the flashlight out all the time.
Oh, can you really?
Yeah, it totally ruins the total fear element. So to counter that, I put it on the second hardest difficulty, and it's like, it's fucking crazy hard. One little zombie guy could just crush me if he catches me by surprise.
I was
Oh,
no good
man.
at that game. Doom
Yeah.
3 is like, it's just one of the games where it's like Resident Evil 4. I just can't play it.
I wonder how you're gonna handle the new Doom then.
The new Doom seems a lot more like the old Doom, which
It
It's
is.
supposed to be.
seems
yeah.
a lot more like a straight up shooter. So,
Just massacring people.
and I'm okay at shooters. I might have to set the difficulty to like low, but you know, I'm okay at shooters for the most part.
So yeah, I've been playing those two. I also played a little bit of Rocksmith. I've been getting behind on my challenge, which is shameful, but I've just been
Shame.
busy working on
I gotta spam it one day.
websites. And well, the problem with spamming a game like that is
Your fingers
my
hurt.
hands start to ache, dude.
Oh, I know that feeling well. When I start playing a fighter game with like Street Fighter 5 or Mortal Kombat, my thumbs just get blisters.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah, well, sometimes if I'm not holding the pick right, I can like rub my hand just a teeny bit with some strums, and it starts to get a little raw. Plus, my fingers, they just get tired. Like, they're not used to forcing this fat fucking E string down or whatever. But I played a little bit of that, and then I also jumped on the on Steam for the first time in a little while, and I played some Left 4 Dead 2 with a few of the listeners with Crinitol.
Oh, nice.
and,
I think I did see a stream that was like late night Left 4 Dead or something like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I did that, and then I also played It was with him and then Joe's nemesis, Pixel Edged. Played with those two. A self-proclaimed nemesis, mind you. Pixel Edged is the one that's throwing the hate. Joe's just like, here. And then, I think I played one more thing. I haven't touched 10-2 last mission in a week. Which is,
oh my god, dude, you're gonna have to get on that.
Which is sad, but no, we still got a little bit of time.
We got 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks at least.
2 weeks. Because it'll be 10-2's episode for a week, and then it'll be a news episode for a week. You got 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like, there's no... Unless we finish it and then start 11 early.
2 weeks, it's 80 floors. So how many floors a day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about that.
I will. Okay. Age of Empires 2. Joe and I played a match against each other.
Damn nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Getting ready for the big match.
Yeah, getting ready for his nemesis match.
Might have to get ready a little bit more.
Finding the people that you like.
It's like defenses on my shit. I gotta get that shit nailed down. Like what troops to use, when. But I know it changes for every fucking culture that you use.
It does, yeah.
Have you found one that you like, though? I know Caleb likes using the English people for the longbow.
We used random, though.
Yeah, I just went random.
I assume that when me and Pixel Edge do face off, it'll be random.
It needs to be, yeah.
But
I'm also coming up with a logo for that. I've got a picture of Pixel, and I just need a picture of you facing the opposite direction. And I'll do like Fight Night, and we'll come up with the exact date. Throw it out there on the Twitter.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, I've been... other than those 7 million games that I've played, I have, in fact, finished one, but we'll let Joe talk about what he's played first.
Well, I did finish up Heavy Rain, and we will be reviewing that here soon.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you finished it.
Yeah, I'm glad I finished it as well. I had to... It was a shorter game than I thought.
I told you it would be.
I know that, like, for the first, I guess, third of the game, it took me 2 days to get through. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of it
was like
I just took a day out and I told my parents, I'm like, leave me alone today. I'm just going to be playing video games. I get to say that, though. Now that this is like sort of a job, I do get to say, sorry, I got to play games today. Like, it's a thing I have to do.
Nice.
So I don't get as much shame. Like, it's not like they're bringing out like... It's not nearly as bad if you got a podcast, because then it's like, I'm working. I gotta play this game.
I have to do this.
Also, this has a strip scene in it, and I have to shut the door and stay away from everybody, because my Mormon parents will not stand for this if they saw it. So yeah, that happened this week. What else did I play? I played a little bit of Doom 1. Me and Caleb were going to play Doom 3 online because he needs a trophy, and there's only one guy that plays on the PlayStation 3 online deathmatch for that game.
He's way too good.
And so the idea is
one
that
guy, huh?
The idea is that me and Caleb do a game, and so that Caleb can win the match and I can win the match, and we can both get the fucking trophy.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 online trophies that we could probably work on together.
So I will help him get the trophy, because I did pick up Doom 3 BFG edition. Also, we celebrated birthdays in my family recently, and I asked for a Lego game. So you said Lego Batman, I got Lego Hobbit.
Nice.
And
I have that one on Steam.
It wasn't for me. It was because my nephew loves the idea. He's too young. He's really just too young. I think he's like 5 or something, maybe even younger than that. He may be like 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. And he really loves the idea of video games, but he can't play them. Like, he just can't do it. And there was a demo at the game store when I was looking for Rocksmith. I took him along with me because, you know, he likes looking at the video games. There was a demo at the game store that was one of the Lego games. It was like Lego Jurassic Park or something like that.
Oh, sweet.
And or Jurassic World, sorry. And he seemed to be able to understand what was going on in those games easier than like Mario or something like that.
Oh yeah, they're generally for kids,
right? Yeah. And he seemed to understand like how moving around kind of affected it, and it's not like you get a game over if you screw up in those games. So it's like, you know, it's a lot easier for the kid to understand. And so like I asked for that game so that, you know, when my nephew comes back from Washington DC, he and I will be able to play some video games. And it can be a special thing. I honestly am still like thinking about like if I ever have kids, like what age will I allow video games? And it's like I shall be the cool uncle for my nephew, but I don't know if I think someone needs to be the cool uncle for my kids instead.
So it was a Hobbit one then? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was the Hobbit. That's the best part of that first Hobbit
It is
movie.
the best part of that fucking movie.
The music is so good.
Yeah, it is.
It is. That first movie is just so subpar. You haven't seen the second ones, have you?
No, I haven't. I didn't want to after the first one. I was like,
They get better. They really do.
Yeah, the second one's pretty good.
Second and third one can be watched as one movie because I think they were filmed as one movie, and it's just really fucking long. And it's quite action packed, and it's really good.
yeah, you know what I think I would do as a parent?
And there's like some dark scenes where he's like, yeah, it's good.
As a parent for gaming, I think I would let them game, but I would limit it to a certain amount of time per day so that they still go outside. We still do stuff. The problem with it for some people is, I don't mean to like bag on anybody's parenting, but if you don't have time, some people will just throw their kids in front of the TV with the video games, and that's what they do. Which, I mean, I do that now in my adult life, but that's different. I run a podcast. I do, we have a network. We have all these games that we want to review. It's entertainment, but it shouldn't be.
It's almost like they're being trained inadvertently. I mean, I know the parents don't think they're doing this. But they're like almost being trained to emotionally regulate with the video game.
Yeah.
And so there is a problem inherent in that. And so like I'm kind of glad that my parents kind of forbade me having a console at home. They didn't forbade me from video games or computer games altogether, but it's like I wasn't allowed to have a console until I was like 15.
And it did keep it a novel thing, so when you'd go over to a friend's house, it's like a fond memory.
Yeah, it's like a thing that we
do.
do then. It's not
Right.
like, oh, I do this all day and also...
So why is it even anything to go to your buddies, But
yeah,
who knows?
It kept me outside a little bit more. It was less fat than I guess I would have been.
Yeah, I was still pretty chubby when I was younger, but I was always outside, so it's a hit and miss thing. I don't know. Well, guys, I think it's time to get into our hog.
Yeah. All right.
So, Caleb Craig has not beaten any games this week, thank God. Joe, you did say you beat Heavy Rain.
I
correct?
did.
That's good, because we're talking about it.
Yeah, and Dylan's not baiting of Doom 2 weeks ago.
That was pretty sad.
Oh, I forgot to mention I also played some Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I fixed my computer this week.
Oh, good.
That's what
Do
I
you
did.
have the disc?
No, it's Steam.
Oh, okay.
Your disc is over there, though. Found it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't buy it on Steam. It was like $1 for the disc. So Joe beat one game. I also beat Doom 2.
Nice.
And soon I will beat Doom 3. And I will be catching up to Craig. So the hog status is as follows. Craig in the lead. Me, second place with -2. Joe, third place with -5. And bringing up the rear,
Cameron -10.
-10 on the hog. 16 games beaten. Not anything up from last week, but still pretty damn impressive, I'd say.
Yeah, can I say something about the hog status? You don't have to do the super hog if you don't want to. So by next episode, because next episode will be in July, right?
Yes.
Because July 1st is Friday. So by next episode, you guys need to tweet me or put in the forums what your hog numbers are. And so the hashtags for the tweeting are hashtag may the list go on and hashtag hog status. Right, and then you just put your nude clan hog, which is just how many video games you've beaten this year so far for the first time.
Yep.
And then your super hog, should you choose to fill out the sheet, which I know at least 2 people that are getting really into it on the forums.
Nice.
The super hog as well, and we will keep you up to date once a month on those numbers as well as our own numbers.
Right. Yeah. And before we get into the episode, we did forget to do our plugs. So
yes.
Let's knock those out. You guys can find us at nudeclan.net. It'll reroute you over to Ultima Final Fantasy.
We are working on a website.
We are.
And it shall be soon.
Very soon. It'll be the ultimate site. And let's see, you guys can follow me and actually all of us, I'd say, on Twitch, twitch.tv/NudeClanGaming. You can see us stream whatever the hell we want.
You go to facebook.com/NudeClan podcast. Nude spelled NEWD, or just find us in the search bar spelling it the normal way.
Yeah, that's really stupid.
You can also, you can also email us at nudeclanpodcast@gmail.com. And you can tweet me at Joseph DeGaulier.
Me at Obsidian Bar.
Me and Ultimate Final Fantasy at UFF Podcast.
And Cameron, our dear friend who's got a birthday today and whose girlfriend stole him from us. Cameron at Nude Clan Cam. Unfortunately, there is no nudity at Nude Clan Cam.
Damn.
I think I'd rather not see any of that from him.
Well, you know.
I guess it doesn't have to inherently be him, though, right?
No, it doesn't.
So on top of all of that, check out our other shows, Ultimate Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast, retrospective on the entire series, all the media that we can get our grubby little hands on. You can find that at ultimatefinalfantasy.com.
Godzilla Podcast, guys. Godzilla Podcast is awesome. We just did a commentary on the American edition of Rodan.
Nice.
It's out now. That movie is terrible.
I remember that movie.
Enjoy it. I loved it as a kid, and Drew loved it as like a young teenager, and he was just so disappointed watching it this time around.
Oh, man.
And so listen to us bash on Rodan. We didn't bash on Radon, which is the Japanese version, but we did bash on Rodan. So check that out. Also, your show, Caleb Schweiss.
Super sexy swinging fan fiction, a continuation of an early idea, an early birth on Ultimate Final Fantasy. Read bad fan fiction, not always bad, sometimes erotic, just whatever's submitted, really. whatever we can find. It's a lot of fun. It's a very drop heavy show. So
Okay, well, do we have a question for the week?
We do indeed.
Okay.
Ooh.
What is our question?
It is titled Game Talent. This one is from Skull Haiti on the forums. What game are you best at skill-wise? A multiplayer game you excel at, or maybe even a single-player game that you have mastered the technique of?
Did we answer this question already?
I don't remember answering this.
Part of me thinks...
I feel like there was a question that was similar, but I don't think it was that one.
If we did, we're going to look like assholes.
Sword Wars Halo 2. That's my, that's the only thing I'm good at. That's like... Not even Halo 3 swords, like I'm okay at Halo 3 swords, but Halo 2 swords with the timing that has to be exact, I got that shit fucking down. There is nothing like... Halo 3 made it, I guess, more fair, in quotes. I say fair because it was fair in Halo 2 as well. It made it more fair because if you were close enough on the timing, then suddenly it would become this war where you had to just bash each other to death with the B button. But no, Halo 2, once you got that lock on, you got the right angle, man. Oh,
damn, man.
Good shit.
This one does sound familiar. Well, we'll go with it. What about you, Craig? What is something
we'll
that
just assume that they missed the last episode that we answered this on.
Yeah.
The game that I'm probably best at is, for multiplayer, probably Destiny. I've been rocking some ass lately. Single player wise, I'm not really sure what I would be best at single player wise.
Yeah, I don't even think you can answer that. Let's see. For me, multiplayer,
I can beat a Final Fantasy pretty quickly. Like, I can understand the mechanics of a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah?
Yeah, after playing, many in a row.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like, oh, this is a Final Fantasy game, so I know exactly what I need to do. Unless it's 12.
I would say, as far as multiplayer goes, I don't know, probably like Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Yeah.
I'm pretty solid at shooters. I used to be a lot better at Call of Duty, like just God status. I could be super wasted and still like win every match I play. But I'd say those for multiplayer. For single player, I got pretty good at Resident Evil Outbreak. As much as I talk about it and played it back in the day, I was able to do a fair amount of them on the hard difficulty. I don't think I ever unlocked very hard because I couldn't complete the final mission on hard. But I did get pretty solid at it, and it's rough, man. Like, you get hit a couple times, you fall down, you die.
So in case we answered this question before, I'll do the reverse. What multiplayer are you worst at?
The worst at? Oh, that one's...
I got one. Multiplayer game that I am the worst at that I know I will never get better at is Smash Bros. I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
I'm worse than you at that game. Schwartz.
I can't get it,
Caleb
man.
just spams the shit out of Sonic and then just like keeps using his B move. It's really funny.
I did get to the point where I could not fall off the map pretty regularly, but I can't keep up with you or Dylan, Caleb. I can't do it.
Well, Dylan's pretty good.
Well, I've been playing since the N64 version, so
Yeah,
it's pretty much the same.
It's just something that I can't just pick up. Like a fighter game, I can get good at. I can memorize the moves. I can become quite good. But I can't on this fighter-esque thing. I don't know. Whatever Smash Bros is, I am the worst at.
Smash Bros is a different beast than like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or something like that. Some Street Fighter.
It's so fast.
Slowest goddamn game on the fucking planet as far as fighters are concerned. But usually fighters kind of have similar mechanics, and
true, yeah,
they
they
each
usually
have
do.
very trustworthy health bars that tell you where everything's at.
Oh, yeah.
And
Smash.
that's the Smash Bros thing with like the fucking crazy camera, and I know you guys love this game, so I understand. I am in a very small minority here with Schweiss. We're in the very small minority as far as like not only skill at this game, but like love for this game, which I don't understand. I mean, I beat the campaign of Melee. And so, like, I thought, hey, or the arcade mode or whatever the fuck it was.
Maybe I'm okay now.
And it's like, hey, I might be able to do this. No, you can't play this fucking game. This game, like, not only are the combos fucking weird, and, like, it seems like their kind of angles on everything is, like, it's just not exact.
Yeah.
That may be the thing. It's like this round, colorful, bubbly game.
Well, it's a party game. It's not necessarily meant to be like a
Super competitive.
super competitive fighter like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
It has
It's not
been turned
supposed
into
to.
that, though.
Yeah, there are tournaments for it, and those things are intense. But like, it's not really what it was meant to be.
Right.
And the fact that, like, you have to know what the character does, like, inside and out. You can play a Mortal Kombat game and, like, you can figure things out and you can just do the regular Melee stuff and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Smash Bros. Like, you have to know the character inside and out. And you'll be that one person that has that one guy. Like, I must play Peach or Fox if Peach is taken. Like, that's the thing. Right? Like,
Well,
I don't know a game.
multiples.
Dylan always plays as Yoshi, and Dylan always kicks ass as Yoshi,
I
right?
hate him playing as Yoshi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing that pisses me off the most about that game is the goddamn percentage thing.
You can
Yeah.
change it to HP.
Well, Jesus, why isn't that the normal mode? Like, every other fighter on the fucking planet
Because-
has an HP bar, and this thing has a percentage thing that doesn't really mean anything.
Okay,
Like,
so with the-
it's a high percentage, so do a special move and it'll kick him off the map.
With the HP, like it only
and
it's,
sometimes it'll kick him off.
it's fixed at like 150, which is a lot less damage than you would normally be able to take in the normal percentage modes. Because you can take over like 300% damage, and that's like twice what you would in like the HP mode. So I think that's why not everybody uses it, and I don't know why they don't just like have a thing where you can increase the HP, but whatever.
Yeah, so I'm gonna second his being terrible at multiplayer at Smash Bros.
Maybe we should have a thing where we stream Smash Bros one day.
Yeah, actually, you know what a game is that I'm good at on that sort of level?
What?
Mario Kart.
And you know what? Mario Kart is actually the thing that I was probably going to say I'm the worst at, because
Yeah.
I am not.
I do love being better than you at Mario
I am
Kart.
not very good at Mario Kart, or really any racer other than fucking Burnout 3. Like,
Yeah.
I am terrible at those games. I fucking hate those games.
It's just,
Oh
yeah,
man,
maybe that's why we don't trust you in a car.
fuck
Yeah.
you.
Might have something
The only
to do
one
with
you
that.
know how to, the only ones you know how to play are the combat racers.
Yeah, the ones where you
Yeah, the
smash
combat
into
racers
things.
I'm actually decent at, but you know,
Oh, my character smashed through the window after they wrecked.
he's immortal.
Insurance, here we come.
Yeah. Well, there is that game mode in Burnout 3.
Yeah, the destruction one.
The destruction one where you get try to get money.
Single player, I am fucking terrible at platformers.
Oh yeah, you're not very good at the platformers.
Jesus Christ, dude! Like Mario, I love the first 3 levels of that game.
The first 3 levels, nice.
Listen, I love Mario and I love Donkey Kong Country. I am fucking terrible at it, though. Like, I am bad. There's just something about those games that I just can't handle.
Yeah.
And I think it might just be like, oh, if you're a kid and those are the games that are out, like, you'll eventually get good at them. Like, Dylan's pretty good at them. Dylan's good at most Nintendo things because he had Nintendo growing up, right? For much longer than I did. So, like, I feel like platformers may come easier to those people. Strategy games, single player, I like more and I seem to be better at. And it's a different type of
different type
thing.
of game.
But I know I could probably school Dylan at most strategy games. So
Well, with the platformers, I mean, I don't think they're too hard. I mean, you have to kind of know the distance that you're going to be able to jump, and then like kind of a timing, because sometimes the platforms will move.
it might have to do with impatience.
But it might have to do with impatience, and then also with like knowing how far you're going to be able to jump. That just comes with like playing it. You just like know naturally if you can make that jump.
Yeah. And having a big screen plasma television with a slight delay also makes...
Yeah, that might affect your play.
That might affect platformers just a tiny bit.
Anything that has to do with timing.
Yes. And we'll talk about timing in Heavy Rain.
Yes, we will.
Let's get to it.
Are you prepared to suffer to save your son? You have 5 minutes to cut off the last section of one of your fingers in front of the camera. If you succeed, you will get your reward.
Agent Norman Jaden, FBI.
Good evening. My name's Scott Shelby. I'm a private detective. I'm investigating the case of the origami killers.
I'd like a room.
Madison Page, 27, single.
Ethan Mars has had psychological problems since his first son died. He is haunted by visions of drowning bodies. A few weeks ago, after one of our usual sessions, I found this on the floor. It must have fallen out of his pocket.
Ash, I want you to assign every available man to finding Ethan Mars. I want you to keep an eye on the train stations, the airports, the bus terminals. I want every cop in the city on his ass, so that if he moves, we know about it. You're gonna die, you son of a bitch!
I swore on my son's grave that I would kill the man who murdered him.
I just don't believe he's guilty.
Your other son, Mrs. Shepard. What was his name?
Everything I did for love.
All right, so some brief background on Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is an interactive drama action-adventure video game developed by Quantic Dream back in 2010.
But is it a video game? They call it an interactive movie from what I've seen.
It is a video game. Just
it's out on the PS3.
Really
cinematic
one.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Very cinematic one.
Heavy Rain. You thought Metal Gear Solid had a bunch of cutscenes.
No. This game is entirely a cutscene.
Almost, yeah, almost entirely.
Yeah. Heavy Rain is a noir thriller with 4 different characters. Yes.
It has 4
characters
different
that the player can take control of. Each of these characters are involved with the case of a serial killer who uses rainwater to drown his victims.
And is quite the master at origami.
Yes, yes, he is. That's why he's named the Origami Killer.
Right, he leaves a little chunk of origami at every dead body, right?
Yep, with every dead
he's a
child.
He's an artist.
He's an artiste. He's an artiste. The player's decisions and actions made during the game affect the story. Main characters can be killed, and certain actions can lead to different scenes and endings. Heavy Rain was a critical and commercial success. It won several Game of the Year awards and selling over 3 million copies.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was re-released for the PS4 with enhanced graphics and resolution.
I could not fucking find a PS4 version when I went to look for it in the store.
It was on PSN.
Well, I don't mean PSN.
Oh, you mean like at the store?
Yes.
I don't know if there was a physical copy.
Oh, was it just digital? Well, maybe that's why.
I don't know, though, but it didn't say when I was looking it up. It just said that it was re-released.
It's just like, I need this fucking game, and I need it now.
Heavy Rain used technology that was used in a demo at E3 in 2006, back when it was announced. It called the casting. It included full body and facial motion capture, real-time tears and wrinkles on the face, advanced skin shaders, and some advanced rendering features such as depth of field, some spherical harmonics, auto exposure, high dynamic range rendering, and the technology enabled animations of pupil dilation, tongues, eyes, and fingers, and the dynamic hair with physics.
It was only available for download.
Oh, was it?
No physical PS4 copies.
So yeah.
That's all you got on there.
Well, yeah, that's like all I could really find.
I know that company had tried something before, and I think since, like, that's that company's thing, Quantic Dream, like, that's their deal is to make interactive movies, as they called it when I was looking up information on this.
Yeah.
And they had a game during the PS2 era that was something similar. Like it was, I don't think it was as critically acclaimed as Heavy Rain was, but I think it was another thing where they had the timing and they had the R2 to go forward button, and it was a very similarly built game.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they actually had a game on PC and Dreamcast.
Oh, is that what it was for?
And it did have the interactive cinema technology.
Yeah.
And that one was called Omicron, the Nomad Soul.
Yeah.
It was in 99.
That was it. So, you know, this is something that they've been working on, like this style of gameplay, which Caleb was talking about last time, or maybe it was in a private conversation. He was talking about Game of Thrones. What are those things called again?
The Telltale games.
The Telltale games, and how they're almost taking a leaf out of the Quantic Dream book, right?
Yeah, it's like if they took Quantic Dream and then they watered it down almost to the point where there is no difference based on the decisions you make. That's what that's what they've done. Although Telltale,
I
will say,
cutscenes and timing puzzles.
Yeah, but it doesn't have.
It's not quite as intense or as. I don't know.
Well, I assumed it wouldn't be.
In in Dead Rising, wait, fucking God, too many goddamn zombie
The
undead.
Walking Dead?
Yes, The Walking Dead Season 2, it did feel like a Quantic Dream game because it actually mattered what decisions you made. Earlier ones, it didn't fucking make a difference. So it is something that these guys definitely spawned, and I've seen in other games. So
yeah. I would like to say something that's unique about this game besides its control scheme, which is bizarre, and we'll talk about it in the gameplay section. Something that's unique about this is that, it is a noir, and I know that there are some other noir games, like I think there's actually a game called LA Noire.
There is, by Rockstar. It was a good game.
The noir games, like, that's not really a genre that's explored that much in video games,
which is kind of surprising. It would seem like a popular title.
People want to go. I mean, it's similar to horror in many aspects.
I would say more mystery and like thriller is what it should be. Which I would say this game is probably a thriller.
It's definitely I
wouldn't say
noir
horror,
thriller.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying there's similarities between the genres.
Oh, so you think most people just go full horror?
Yeah, I think they're going
noir.
full horror.
They're like,
they're like Silent Hill instead of Sunset Boulevard or whatever the fuck. So it's different. It's very interesting to see, and I like especially the kind of the effort that they put into something like this. Can you find the name of the director writer for this game, Schweiss, while you're doing that?
The game that was after this one was a lot like this, I suppose.
Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, the Beyond Two Souls, and then at this E3 they announced a new game, which was Detroit Become Human, which I don't know. Did you see the trailer for that one, Joe?
I have not.
It features a lot more decisions in that game.
The guy's name is David Cage.
Yeah, David Cage. This is kind of his baby. So he's looks like he's a French musician, writer, and video game designer. And as far as I can tell, I think there were probably other writers on the thing, but he was basically the writer for Heavy Rain as well as the director.
Yeah.
So he was almost doing this as like a film that was interactive to him.
Yeah.
And so I think we should probably talk about the story a little bit. Now, we don't have a write-up for the story because it is a mystery noir, and we don't want to spoil anything for you.
Yeah, this is different.
This is all you need to know. There's this dude whose son is ran over, and the memory of it haunts him, and then his other son is kidnapped by this origami killer guy.
Right,
at least that's the assumption. And so, the story follows 4 people as they're trying to figure out who the origami killer is, and then there's a giant twist at the end, of course. It's a noir. It's a basic noir with some kung fu mixed in as well.
The fight scenes.
Yeah, you got to have a video game. You got to have some fight scenes, right? So that's. I don't know. Is there really anything else we can say about the story?
Not without giving a whole lot away.
Yeah, it does go in some strange directions. I will say. There's a part where you have to. Where you're playing the girl.
I guess we could talk about the characters a little bit, just a little bit about their backgrounds.
I guess. So there's Jaden,
the
FBI agent who's looking for the killer, and he's using this this weird technology to find clues for the killer.
Yeah, he's got some sweet glasses and like a glove that allows it. That's basically VR that he can find clues and things with them, and he can just look at him and search through all the information that he's stored on him. It's basically like a mini computer that is like VR that he can just look at.
And him and another cop are kind of working against time to try to find the origami killer.
Yeah.
And another character, the father, of course, he almost suspects himself to be the origami killer.
Yeah, after he has his first son die, he
starts getting these panic attacks that he can't remember.
These panic attacks, he starts blacking out.
Yeah.
And when his son disappeared from the park when he was with him, he blacked out a couple miles away with an origami figure in his hand.
Right, some dead hooker in the dumpster next to him, kind of a thing.
yeah, he was freaking out.
Yeah.
But
okay.
And then he started looking for his son, and then he was gone, and so they went to the police and stuff, and and
he's getting clues from the origami killer.
Yeah, he starts getting clues from the origami killer, telling him that he has to go do certain things in order to save his son.
Right.
And then another character is Scott Shelby, a retired policeman who's now
a private investigator.
He's now a private investigator specifically for the origami killer case. He goes and he finds this one lady, I think Lauren Winter is her name. She's a prostitute working out of her home.
Lost her son to the origami killer.
Yeah, her son
wants
was
to help
the
him.
most recent victim of the origami killer. Yeah, and she becomes kind of a main character a little bit when you go through the story.
Yeah, and basically he's working his way. His track is kind of he's working up the ladder as far as the origami killer could be someone very high up. That's the idea that he's going for. The final character that you kind of play the game through is the woman character. I can't remember her name right now.
I can't remember her name either, but
she gets wrapped up with the father.
She gets wrapped up with Ethan Mars, and it turns out she's a
Madison Page.
Madison Page. She's a reporter trying to kind of get a angle on the story.
Yeah, and he doesn't know it.
Yeah, and she doesn't tell him anything about it, and he just kind of...
she has insomnia. I would like to say that every single character in this,
has a major problem. The FBI agent is addicted to tryptocane or something like that. Some kind of cocaine type shit.
I don't know.
And then Ethan Mars is blacking out, going to see a fucking therapist.
Scott Shelby gets these asthma attacks that are debilitating.
Yeah.
And then she is, of course, the insomniac, and you never know where she's at. So every idea is one of them may be the origami killer.
Yeah, they all have fucking problems.
Yeah, they're all major problems. They're all I can't control it kind of thing problems.
Yeah.
Which I think is a flaw in the storytelling. I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah.
So this is what I think about this story, Caleb. Now, they're told in episodes. You go from one character to another.
Yeah.
And there are many cool things about this, like your decisions. I had a decision early on, like midway through the game. I guess it wasn't a decision. I just didn't do the timing puzzle as well as I should have. And one of the characters died, and that decision changed the ending.
None
of
of
the
your
game.
characters are safe.
Yeah.
None.
And in fact, 2 of the main characters died in my game. One near the end and one in the middle. And so I got a bad ending, actually. They didn't find the killer and all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Wait, so you don't know who it is?
I do know who it is.
Oh, okay.
That twist still happens, but like...
They just never busted?
They never bust
the person?
him.
Okay.
Yeah, they bust the wrong person.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So like that is fucking cool. Right? The idea of that... The video game, they were so in depth with the story that they were telling and kind of the different tracks that you could take, almost like a choose your own adventure sort of thing based upon your stupidity. It was so cool that it like changed that stuff. However, I have issues here with, and it's kind of inherent in the thing, and I'm not sure how you would fix it. Pacing was a little weird in this game. As far as like, I didn't know how to judge it as a movie or as a video game. Even as a video game, I don't know if the pacing was that great within the story. Like, you're a third of the way through the game, it seems, or almost a third of the way through the game, when suddenly what was a drama turns into this FBI guy with this cyber power thing that I was like, what the fuck is this? Like these special glasses that can see amazing things, like suddenly becomes a sci-fi movie for just a little bit. And I realize it's a representation of like, it's our visual representation of something that's not that far off, I guess. But it seemed hokey to me. And it's just like, I just read Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami, and suddenly in the middle of the book, the guy starts talking to cats. And it's something, it's like that almost, where it's like, oh, you should have brought this up way earlier, because I need to know the rules of the world before this point in the game. Like,
Well, they bring up the FBI guy's ability pretty early in the game.
Pretty early, but only after like 16 scenes with the other guy and his son, making it seem like a pretty normal thriller thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it was early enough.
It makes it seem like any asshole could just put on this fucking these glasses and just do his job. Like, what is his value? He's a druggie. Get somebody that's not high to wear the goggles and you're fine.
Okay, well...
it is odd.
I will say that, like, in my part of the story, I did have that character die... because I wasn't fast enough in the mini game to save his life.
I totally wasn't either.
And so
I concur.
He gets
fucking Muhammad Ali.
I was trying not to say who I killed, but okay.
Well, you know, all characters can die, so it's not really like anyway. So anyway, after he dies, his glasses like get picked up in the ending that I got by the cop that he was working with. And so it like did make it seem like anybody could use it.
Yeah,
he was just. I think it's something that all FBI agents have, because he was the only FBI agent in that scene, or like on the case.
Was the guy within the? Was he there in the VR world?
Yeah, he randomly appeared in the fucking glasses world. I was like, what the shit?
And he came for the dude. He came for the guy he hated. It was awesome.
It was weird. Like, I don't understand how that worked.
His spirit.
He entered the Matrix.
What the fuck?
It's fucking in the Matrix.
Maybe that's his like password protection thing.
This entire game tries to be a really realistic like 90s thriller. Like, it tries to be Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
And then also sci-fi glasses. So I did have a problem with, like, they needed to introduce that scene too. Like, that needed to be.
I felt like it was pretty early from what I remember.
Early. It was right after.
You don't start Lord of the Rings as like a Farmville tale, and then suddenly there's a wizard.
Okay, yeah, but
they do though.
They have
just has fireworks.
That's not true. You start with the War, the Ring.
Oh, that's true.
Stuff.
I guess, yeah.
You know it's a fantasy. Right there.
Yeah, but you're not going to start with like, oh, by the way, this guy has magic glasses. Okay, now we're going to start with this father and this innocent play.
Can you imagine Jurassic Park without the first scene with the dinosaur in it? It would just be like, we have dinosaurs. And it's like, bullshit. But you saw the dinosaur at the beginning, so you're like, okay, I'm in.
Shoot!
Yeah.
So I did have a problem with that. You may not. And
I didn't think it was bad. I mean, like, it did get kind of irritating how many clues you have to fucking find with this fucking glasses thing. But no, I didn't have a problem with when they introduced it, because like he got introduced like the second like the Origami Killer stuff started. Pretty much.
Yeah, I think he should have just like been just an arbitrary first scene right after the prologue that we get, where the guy loses his son to the car accident, or when he's crossing the street. Right after that part, there should have been a scene where he's like, "Welcome to your first day at the FBI. This is your Ari glasses. This is empty." By the way, I just almost spilled a drink. Here's your Ari glasses, which I kept on thinking Ari from Entourage. And this is what it does. Instead of just being like,
or even during like the credits that they have in the beginning, like have a scene with him like fucking with his glasses.
Yes,
and just
something.
Glance it, so you're like, oh, wow, that looks really cool.
There needed to be something, because I just thought it's still throughout the whole game, it's out of place.
And that way, it doesn't just come out and like dick whip you.
It does kind of detract, I guess.
Yeah,
because he's the only one that does it, and he's the only character that has any kind of technology like that.
Yeah, and another pet peeve I had there's many good things about the story. Another peeve I had with the story is, once again, I said the pacing, right? And that's one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is like every scene is an action scene. Like,
well, not every scene.
Almost every scene like has. I realize it's a video game, so you need this kind of thing. But then again, it's like, is it a movie or is it a video game? Like it's. Suddenly, of course you can't just let this happen. There has to be like some bullshit timing puzzle right at the end of the episode that's like super difficult and super high impact and stuff like that. And by the way, the prologue didn't set up that this was going to be an action movie either. It's just like
it's like an investigation kind of a game.
And then suddenly Scott Shelby's episode starts, and then we have a kung fu fight.
Well, did you not do the sword fight thing with your kids when you go outside?
Oh, I did that, but that was you
kind of
playing with
supposed
your
to be
kids.
an introduction to what can happen in the game.
You might be right about that, but I didn't think that like when the Scott Shelby thing came, and they were like the dude that was like angry that he wasn't getting pussy from the prostitute.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I feel like that guy did have some moves. That fat fuck was like going at it, beating up this bald guy.
It was basically
weights.
every other scene there was some ridiculous fight scene, which were fun gameplay wise, but I think that like
story wise they don't work as well.
Story wise, I don't think it works that well, and I realize that the story is the thing that sells this game, and people think the story is like amazing, and you may think that, Caleb Gregg. I haven't actually asked you about your opinion on the story yet, but personally, I think there's a few flaws in the storytelling, and the story itself, pretty standard noir mystery.
Yeah.
Like, okay, one of the characters you meet is the bad guy. Now you get to figure out who it is. And of course, they give you a million red herrings, which is what any fucking British television mystery show is going to give you. And so it's not like, well, this video game is special as a video game, but it's not actually that special as a story. I really don't think it's anything better than than Prisoners or something like that. Like, yeah, I know what they're trying to do, and I'm glad they're trying to do it. But I actually think that the story is kind of, I don't know. There are great parts with mood, like when the music's there and like things are really like dark or sad. Like that shit's good, but the story itself and its pacing as it moves along as a whole, I think has issues. Issues that I can't really put my finger on, but it just doesn't feel right. Like I felt like the game was like, oh wow, this is amazing, until I don't know, about a third of the way through the game, I started going, is there another kung fu scene? Is this how things are? I don't know. But what do you feel?
I didn't think that there were too many fight scenes. I mean, there were like a few that like were interesting.
It's not just fight scenes, it's like action scenes.
Yeah, the action scenes, but like I didn't feel like it was like one every other second, like you said that. But I mean, there were like the important ones where like the characters could die,
Sure.
But you know,
Yeah.
like, and I feel like that was fine because like in the game they wanted it to be like whatever you choose to do is gonna like affect it. Like where I lost the FBI guy Jaden, like in that he had a fight and I didn't win.
Right.
But yeah, like I don't know. It's
I would counter it with I think it does make sense to have that many action scenes given the plot and what's actually happening. I mean, we've got people burying their noses in all sorts of people's business looking for clues.
Yeah,
and
that's
these are
true. They did involve like a shitload of like random characters,
random criminals that they're like digging into that probably have, you know, shit up to their knees as far
and
as
they're
evidence.
also all black belts, or they're also
or fucking Mike Tyson.
Yeah, they're
One guy.
they're also trained in parkour. I would also like to say, that's something that every single person has in this game.
They're
not everybody. There's like there was the one chase scene with the FBI guy where like he like jumped over a car, but you know whatever.
No, there's 2 chase scenes, man. There's another one with Scott Shelby. Once again.
The fat guy. He is in shape. Okay,
Yeah.
for a fat asthmatic, he is rocking it. Jumping across beams and shit.
So they didn't set it up, and it's just an issue that I had with it. Like they came to me, and I was like, it doesn't feel right, and I'm dealing with that feeling. And the reason it didn't feel right is because they didn't set it up adequately at the beginning for me. That mood, like, oh, this is going to be a fight scene every second thing. No, it's going to be a fight scene every second thing. You know, after the Scott Shelby and after. You know, and I just thought the Scott Shelby thing was just going to be like a thing. But then the next scene Scott Shelby's in, also the fucking store is robbed and he has to kung fu fight the guy.
Well, you know, you can kind of tell when it's going to become a fight scene, though. So,
and like suddenly he's also a sharpshooter at one point as well.
That was fucking sweet. Oh my!
He was a
God.
cop before. I mean, it's
yeah,
not
it
like,
was. It kind of set that up.
Like he never shot a gun, but. Oh.
Yeah, because all cops are special forces sharpshooters.
Well, they are trained to fucking shoot.
I know, but are they trained that well? Was he a SWAT team member? Was he
maybe he
super
practiced,
cop?
Maybe he
was
practiced.
a detective. He gets to wear his civilian clothing and walk around. I don't know.
All right. Well, with that, what do you give Heavy Rain story?
Well, we gotta continue. Caleb Craig. What else? What other thoughts do you have about the story? I've been mostly talking to myself
about the story.
Yeah.
Talking to who will listen, that's all. Talking to who will listen.
I don't know. I really did enjoy a lot of the story. I mean, it did have problems, like you were saying, with like some things weren't set up, like the glasses and like the like there was I remember
said they worked for you, right?
They did it, like his introduction worked for me, but like throughout the story, like I don't know if the glasses were really necessary. I don't know, because like everybody else finds clues like the normal way, like searching the fucking drawers and like but talking to people. But like, yeah, he's just like, oh, my glove will fucking tell me about these footprints and like where things are. And I was like, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I did
the twist work for you?
Yeah, but I already knew who it was before I began the game.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Way to go.
He spoiled it like an asshole.
I did not fucking spoil it. I've said it multiple times. I got it spoiled for me. I was looking at an article and it like randomly popped up and I was like, what the fuck? Why would you just say that without saying spoiler alert?
Why are you looking at articles on a game you didn't beat?
I wasn't. It was for like a different thing, and then they mentioned Heavy Rain, and then they were like, "Oh yeah," and then there's this thing, and I was like, "Why the fuck would you tell me that?"
That is pretty cold.
Yeah, it made me mad, but I still did want to play the game because I wanted to know how like everything worked out, and I was kind of satisfied with the way that I got it, you know, with what happened in my version of the story.
Okay.
Which I think is another sweet thing that like everything impacts the story and like it could change because we like had entirely different stories.
Yeah.
Your story ended badly and mine ended a good way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, an awesome way. I had the same ending as you, Craig.
With the chick?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So,
basically, the chick character was the heroine.
You like the story? How does it compare to other games as far as storytelling? Is this the best? Like a lot of people say, this is the best storytelling they've ever seen in a video game.
I wouldn't say it's the best storytelling I've seen in a video game, but I really did enjoy the story. I mean, I like the fact that like everything can be changed, like characters can die, nobody is safe. So I don't know. I really did enjoy it. I think I'd give it like probably a 7 though.
7, okay,
yeah.
All right. Because like I know that may seem kind of harsh, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a. Fuck. The problem is that they tried so fucking hard that I'm like, well, should I give them points for trying? And it's like other games that don't have as in-depth of a story, I'm giving higher story points to, so I feel kind of bad about that. But really,
one of the reasons that I gave it 7 points is because, you know, there are problems, but there are problems that can possibly be fixed by a different version of the story. Like there's multiple paths that you can take. And I think that works. Like, I think that's something that, like, because you can't really fully judge the story unless you play every variation of the game, which there are multiple. So I don't know.
I understand what the other variations will probably be. For, you know, 2 of my characters will live. That's another variation of the game.
All the characters could live,
and the ending might be okay for the stuff.
Yeah, but there are also scenes that don't happen if you make certain decisions. Like if you just decide, for instance, with the FBI character, like when he freaks out at the beginning when you go back to the police office. Like, if you take the drugs, then, like, it's a different scene than if you just, like, try to walk to the bathroom.
Yeah, I walked to the bathroom.
Yeah, I didn't. I just took the drugs.
You just took the drugs?
I did the walk to the bathroom in my first playthrough, and I just wanted to see what would happen when I took the drugs.
Yeah, so they just tried so hard, and it's an amazing feat what they tried to do.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that it just didn't work 100% with me.
Well, obviously,
the beginning of the game, I thought it was going to be the greatest game ever made, and then it just kind of started dropping for me as I kind of saw what I thought was seeing through it. I'm like, what's going on here? Like every single person has some panic attack bullshit. And so we must all think that when they have the panic attack bullshit that they shall become the origami killer, which is what they were doing with that fucking red herring that they were doing over and over again, which may be the biggest sin of this game. Bigger than not setting up the glasses early, which I'm sure worked for many people, but it didn't. I was like, what? They're breaking the rules of the genre is what they're doing, and sometimes that's okay, but you need to set up the fucking rules of your own movie / game, interactive movie before then, I think. And it's not a rules thing. Like, it just didn't feel right, and I think that would have fixed it for me. I'm going to go ahead and give, for effort, I'm going to give the story a 6, I think.
All right. Well,
you scored it lower than I thought you would, Caleb, honestly.
I'm going to give it an 8 because I disagree. I think the fact that all of them have a problem kind of makes sense. It makes it to where you don't know who it is.
What's your debilitating illness, Schweiss?
I don't have it, but I'm.
How about yours, Caleb?
Can you let me talk for just a sec, Joe, before you talk over me with your
nonsense
shit points? Here's the point I'm going to make. The idea behind it is all of these people they just happen to be involved with the killings in some way. More people could be involved. There's lots of people who have died, but these are the ones that happen to be we get the point of view of. It doesn't mean that they're the only ones involved with the killer. The killer has killed more people, more kids. These are the ones that the game wants us to think that might be the killers. So I think it is a bit of a stretch, but I don't think it really bothers me that much.
It didn't really bother me that much either, especially with the chick. Like, she said she could sleep at like motels for some reason, and then like they really tried to point it to be like as Ethan for being the main thing, because he had a lot more problems than like the other characters.
I think it wouldn't have worked if they would have not had problems. We would have known exactly who it was the whole time.
You can have a mystery where you think everybody's the killer without having some debilitating illness on them. So I disagree, and I think that it was just I think it was a cheap way of doing it.
I think in the end that debilitation didn't even matter. It didn't show anything.
You're giving them too much of the plot, but you're right.
I don't think it did. It's obvious when you look at it from the opposite end, but I don't know. I thought it was awesome, and I think the way they told the story was incredible. So even if the story isn't the best, and it is pretty standard, I think the style of storytelling that this game gives us is revolutionary, and I think it deserves a pretty good amount of respect.
I think it deserves praise for what it tried to do. I just don't think it did it well. Like I would say,
well, you're trying to make it a movie, and it's not a movie.
They say it's an interactive. It doesn't matter
what they say it is.
So I'm going to judge it by what the artist says it is.
The artist doesn't have any say in it after they create it. It's no longer theirs.
I'm going to respect if they believe that it's an interactive movie, then it's an interactive movie. Because honestly, there's way less gameplay than there is movie. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the story is king here, and if the story doesn't work as a whole, which I played it in 3 days and mostly on the third day, so I kind of saw it as a big thing throughout the day. It just didn't. There were just pacing wise, it was weird, and then I think that's those character flaws, and I say that with quotes. I think they were just they were ridiculously large red herrings.
I docked points for the pacing as well, but with me, when it comes to entertainment, I don't give a shit what the creator wanted it to be. I don't care. It's not about them anymore. They put it out for us to play, for us to experience. It's our own experience. It's what we make of it. That's why books are so awesome. I don't give a fuck what Tolkien wanted me to think about his writing. I think what I think after reading it. His opinion on the matter means zero to me.
I have a totally different philosophy.
I know, you read exactly how they want you to read it, and that's stupid to me.
I'll read it myself, and then I'll look up stuff, and I'll be like, oh, this meant that. Oh, that's interesting.
It doesn't necessarily mean that, though. He might have wanted it to mean that, but it doesn't matter what it means to him.
Also, like the idea that it rains in this city for like 12 days in a row.
That's true. That is true.
Well,
is this like England?
It wasn't really 12 days. It wasn't.
Well,
no matter what you think,
all but one scene,
not.
It's raining.
It was like a week.
Including the flashbacks, it's raining.
Not all of the flashbacks. In the very beginning, it was sunny.
Well, that's the one scene.
That's the point, though, is that's when it was happy and light.
It's just like, Jesus
I know,
Christ.
that's
like, if they are having this many inches and the rain never stops, their streets would be flooded at this point. That was another thing that was a minor thing, because I realized that's part of the game's kind of like scheme. It's like, it's rainy and the killer kills people in rainwater, which I just thought was kind of weird, but I let it happen and I didn't dock any points for it. But it's just like, okay, all right, I'll take your word for it. But you like the story. You know what? That's better for you.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people listening to this probably loved the story. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them liking the story. It just didn't work for me. And so I'm going to have to dock it points.
All right.
Okay.
What do you think about gameplay?
Well, let's talk about how the gameplay works in this game. So we'll have a cutscene, right? And usually the game doesn't go too long in the cutscene without having you do some sort of specific action. So much like I would say Resident Evil 4, and there's probably a million other games that do this as well.
Yeah.
Whenever something sort of action-based happens, you have to do a move, like a series of button presses in order for the character to do the motion. And we played it on regular controllers. I guess there's a motion controller thing you can do with this game as well.
If you played it on the PS3, you can use the PlayStation Move for it.
Which
I did try it when I had the PlayStation Move for my PS3, my old one that broke down.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. It was okay, but it was, I don't know. I liked it better on the controller.
Like usually if they're trying to do something interesting, there's usually you're usually pressing like the X buttons or whatever and the L buttons. And then if there's if the character has to do a motion with their hand or legs or something like that, you use the left stick. Or is it the right stick? One of the sticks.
Put it into motion that would be like moving it into that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the difficulty that you set on the game, I think, increases how much of that movement
how much you have to keep doing. Yeah.
And sometimes you have to hold buttons while mashing another button.
Yeah.
And then the speed of the movement of the trigger presses like affect the speed that the character does some things. Like if they want to be really sneaky or quiet, you have to slowly do this movement. So there's a lot of interesting aspects. They're all sort of timing based, and like, you know, if you mess up on the combo, your character, like a retard, just starts all over again. Which I was just like, why? Why would you just start all? Why don't you just like let me try from where I like? No one like tries to open a cabinet halfway and just goes, I can't. Like, what? But that
maybe you should
happen
fail
a few
then.
times in this game. So that's one aspect of the game, and honestly, like there's some chase scenes and stuff where you have to do button presses, not necessarily the button combos like you do with like moving
During,
around
like, the
in a
fight
specific
scenes.
way, but during like fight scenes or during
It was the quick time events like in God of War and stuff like that. Yeah.
it's like, oh, press X, press circle, press square. You know, it's like real quick stuff.
Yeah.
Which of course we both died at the same part with Jade in there.
Yeah.
And didn't press the buttons fast enough, I guess.
With the getting to that part, I was not aware that part was time sensitive, and I was trying to do like the thing because I'm just gonna spoil a little bit. You're in a car and you're about to get crushed, and there's a part where you have to like fucking shake the whole controller like up and down really
Right.
fucking fast, and it wouldn't do it for me. I kept doing it, and then it was like. That like thing was like the little bar that it has inside the box is like filling up really slowly, and then it like resets, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay,
Is that
starting
where
to freak out here.
Is that where he died on yours?
Yeah.
Oh,
I died after that too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got fucking crushed. I was like, "What the fuck?"
No, the guy. If you make it out of there, you have to fight the guy again,
Yeah.
and he is bitch.
He is way worse.
And
second
he
time.
choked my
He
guy
is
out, and I
bitch.
died.
Yeah. Shows a skull in the acid bath. And it's over.
Yeah, he like fucking screams when he gets
Yeah.
crushed. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it
So-
would not let me out of that fucking car.
So that's the timing puzzle thing, and that's most of the game. The other part of the game is that when it's not during a cutscene, I guess those are sort of cutscenes, I would call them.
Yeah.
When you're not in a cutscene, your character needs to move around and find whatever object in whatever fucking place. And the way you control your character, you don't just control him with the stick like every other game.
No, you
on
have
the
to hold
fucking
down
planet.
R2 in order for them to move.
You hold down R2 and then press the direction that you want to
Yeah.
go. And then you have usually about 2 options for the camera. And so sometimes the thing that you're looking for may not be within the camera range. Anyway, you walk past whatever it is, and like the symbol for the button will pop up that you need to press in order to interact with whatever object. There's this one scene where the lady's healing the dude. And she goes to the bathroom into the medicine cabinet, and there's like 6 different bottles of pills, and depending on the directional pad, you'll pick up whichever pill bottle or whatever. And I had to go through like all of them in order to get to the right fucking pill. And so like I had to walk up to it first off, and then you have to swipe the button. She'll pull it off the shelf in a cutscene and go, that's not the right one, and then put it back. And of course it's like 12 seconds each, so I want to kill myself at the end of it. But you know, that's basically kind of how the game plays on top of it. You're almost like you're playing the scene in between the scenes as a game, but then it needs to have the special camera so that it still looks like a movie, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting gameplay. I've never seen gameplay like it before. Not that it doesn't exist, but I've just never seen anything like it before. And like usually timing puzzles are just like an added bonus onto a game and not the whole game. It's very interesting. Almost like Metal Gear Solid is boss fights. You know, it's taking a piece that's usually like a small part of most games and is making it the thing.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. However, fucking walking and the camera angles is so fucking awful. What do you think about the gameplay?
When I first heard about Heavy Rain like forever ago in 2010, and I had seen Caleb play it a little bit, and then I had like borrowed it and stuff, and I really enjoyed like what I had played of it until like the fucking bullshit glitch that wouldn't let me pass. But like I thought it was really different because I had never played a game that was like that at all. Like the closest like in movement, I think doesn't Red Dead have you move kind of like that with the trigger?
No.
No, you use like you hold down X for him to move, right?
No. You just walk.
No, I'm pretty sure it was different than that.
There's like a run thing, I think, but
maybe I was just like running everywhere.
When you're on your horse, I think X spurs the horse to go faster.
Maybe,
but
I
you
don't
just
really
walk.
remember. Anyway, and like it was just something different that I have never really seen before, along with like the controlling of the character, like with the like you said, with the like sticks, like doing certain movements, you know, and the fight scenes with the quick time events. It was just like really interesting, and I really enjoyed like every part of that. But the biggest problem I have is the fucking walking.
God, it's awful.
It is the worst fucking thing about the game.
I think they had the same controls for their first game, and they were just like, let's go with it. It's like, fuck you with the R2 bullshit.
A lot of they try to go for like natural movement and stuff, but then they like I don't know. I hate it.
It's
sometimes.
something in between, like with the Final Fantasy or the Resident Evil games, where you're walking into a room and your character, you have the camera kind of where it's at, right?
Yeah.
But it's something in between, and it doesn't really work, and the angle's always bullshit because they're always looking for what looks the best instead of what functions the best in the situation.
I didn't really mind like the camera angles for when I was walking around. I found everything pretty easily, but the problem that I had was just walking in general, and like because like sometimes you go too fast past a thing, and then like you'll see the button pop up, and then he like walks past it like right as you like let go of the thing, and I was like, what the fuck?
That happens.
And so I had to like turn around, and he like does the whole body turning around. You can't just do the game like the thing in games where you can just like insta flip around.
Well, yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, it takes him like 5 fucking seconds to turn around, and then he like walks past it again, and I was like, what the shit is wrong with you? Oh god, it's super annoying sometimes, just fucking trying to get to a certain thing, especially when, you know, you mentioned it before with the like the things with the electricity, where you're trying to go through that, like the walking to stuff. Oh my god. Fucking annoying as shit. I hate the walking in that game.
The walking is fucking terrible.
Yeah. It's fucking not right, man.
Yeah, the timing is okay. I'm not good at it, but the timing's okay as a game function, and I think it worked well within that. But the Jesus Christ bad controls on the movement is bad.
It's bad.
It's just bad. In fact, like they should have done some like testing, and I'm sure the audience would have been like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
R2 and the directional. Okay. And then if the camera changes and you're like holding the stick too long, they'll just flip around.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
That happened too. I didn't mind holding down R2 and then moving with the directional button. I thought that was an okay way to just move
how
around.
It functions with the camera.
But it's
that's
just
the worst.
like, the way that it functions, and then like the like odd movement style with it. Like it didn't feel fluid at all.
I think you should just lock off the camera like a Resident Evil game and just like have the full view, and then you can do that. Or you can have a normal ass over the shoulder third person thing and move it like a normal game for just those little parts. It's not going to ruin the game by doing that. In fact, it will make it better.
Yeah,
I wasn't happy with that.
It was
the timing though is challenging, and it's cool, and I liked it.
Yeah, I really like the timing events. Like there's a part where you have to drive into oncoming traffic, and there was like a large part of just pure reaction, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, partway through the game turns into a Saw movie, and you have to do some really fucked up stuff.
Yeah. And like I went through it. I enjoyed the timing events. Like getting past it, I was like, "Fuck yeah, I did that!"
I never got past it. So
it was awesome. Like I enjoyed the timing events. I mean, I also like investigating certain things. Like when you play as Scott Shelby, and you have to like go walk around stuff, and then you like go into the rooms. You're opening drawers, like taking care of a baby in one part, like, you know, just interesting parts. It was like really cool.
Yeah.
Those parts of the gameplay were awesome, but the walking around, it's just fucking
I don't remember having a single problem with the walking.
Dude, you should play it again.
I don't remember that
You
at
gotta
all.
play it again.
It's like
I remember,
like, after pregnancy they forget the pain.
Well, I don't think it's that.
After birth.
I just think it's there's a skill gap here. I do remember it being weird to press R2, but I don't remember running into any problems.
It's not like
walking.
I couldn't press R2. Okay, it was the camera. It was bad.
I think the camera adjusts.
Eco
move.
camera. Shadow of the Colossus camera. That's nothing. That is nothing.
The camera does adjust, but there are parts where like you're moving and then it becomes so awkward in the movement that like the camera changes and it like becomes
are you guys adjusting to the camera?
There's things that like I was not any better with it at the end of the game than I was at the beginning.
Because there are games where if you're holding a direction and the camera does a full 180 flip, if you hold that direction, you'll still go forward.
You still go forward for a little while, and then it just changes its mind.
Okay.
There's a weird delay thing that
I couldn't remember how it worked, because most games do what I'm talking about, like Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
The camera angles are bad in that, but if I hold down and I come down, it'll always move me that direction.
But there will be parts that, like, someone's like, you remember at the grave site? Scott Shelby's in a different part, and she's like, come over here, and it's just a shot of her going, come over here, and then you're with Scott Shelby, and you can't really move the camera around to see where the fuck she is.
Yeah, I do remember that graveyard part being a real pain in the ass me.
Yeah.
Because you got to inspect each grave trying to find that one.
Yeah.
And that was a pain in the ass. And then you got to like go try to find her, and like you can't see her.
You can't see her. And so
there's like two sections that you can walk into for like the children's graveyard. Yeah, it's fucking huge. It was a pain in the ass.
And at the beginning when she was like, you got to get the letters from the bookcase, I'm like,
oh no, the plates from the cupboard. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that part was a pain in the ass too.
I couldn't find the fucking cupboard. I would go. I
didn't remember where it was.
Around the goddamn house, as far as I could tell, and there were no plates in any cupboard.
I had played that game before, and I did not remember. And so you can I think I streamed that part, and I was like, "Where the fuck are these plates?"
And then eventually the scene ends. She's like, "Well, if you can't do it, then meh," or something like that. And
she gets pissed off. Yeah,
it's like I couldn't find them. I'm sorry, the camera is that bad.
I did end up finding them because I remembered where they were, but I was like, what the fuck?
The cabinets. It's like, okay, so I live with my parents now, so you get to hear parent stories. My mom has a million cupboards in the house. There's stuff in the kitchen. There's there's stuff in the living room. There's stuff in like her bedroom and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she'll just go, it's in the cupboard. I'm like, which one?
Well,
that's what it was like in this game sometimes.
With our cupboards, we usually have everything hanging from the walls, you know? Yeah. And their fucking cupboards, they were on the ground, behind the table. And I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, that's why I didn't find it.
Yeah. It was behind the table in the dining room. And I was like, why would you keep shit in there? I was
looking around the TV, where are the fucking plates? So yeah, bad, just bad. And there may be a trick to it. Maybe there's a trick to it.
Yeah, maybe we just don't know, but I don't know.
But the fact that it was so, what are they just trying to be different? And
I don't know.
I guess that's the thing. Yeah. The whole point of this game is to be different, but I fucking hated the movement.
Yeah.
Hated it. Yeah, the walking around, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And it's half the gameplay.
It is half the gameplay, and which is why I'm giving it an 8. 2 points are being knocked off solely because of the fucking walking.
I'm knocking off 4. I'm doing 6 for gameplay.
Oh my god, that's a lot less.
If half of it is timing and half of it is walking, I just don't feel right giving it a 5. I'm going to go ahead and go with the 6 because the timing was fun and it was awesome.
Well, the timing was fun, but I also didn't have a problem with the other parts of the gameplay, which were moving the sticks around and stuff. That is part of the gameplay. So walking around is actually probably a 3rd. But it was because of the problems that I had with it is why I'm knocking off 2.
All right.
So I guess I'm being generous.
You are. What do you think?
I'd give it a 9. Because I don't remember that many problems with it.
All right.
There are issues, but I actually enjoy exploring, so opening up more cupboards and stuff.
I would love to enjoy exploring.
I did explore.
Well, you can't. It's just how your nature. It's just running.
I do explore. I did explore in this. You have to, because people will tell you, he wants food, and then you'll go into the fridge, and it's like, but I guess not any of this food because there's only orange juice in this goddamn fridge. And then you have to go find the other fucking fridge.
Yeah, I would recommend playing it again, Caleb, just so you can learn what we're talking about.
Yeah,
maybe you were so engrossed in the story that you were just ignoring the camera. Like I ignore the camera for Shadow of the Colossus.
Eventually, it didn't bug me because the last half of the game got
heavy
really
on the timing puzzles.
Yeah, it got more advanced with that stuff, so it like went by quickly. But
I hated it.
The walking parts just.
I feel like it's frustrating when you can't do it, and I don't remember having too many issues. There was probably
I didn't have a whole lot of issues, but there were some, and those were really frustrating.
All right, that's
come
fair.
over here to the other plot. Just like he's looking around.
Did you have problems at the part where you played as the kids when you were running through the building site?
No, not really, actually.
Yeah, I didn't either. That one, that was entirely just walking and running, and that one was fine. But just like the little intricate movements of things where you gotta go like find shit. Like specifically,
it's always finding shit in the kitchen is the worst.
Finding shit in the
absolute
kitchen.
worst.
There's a lot of kitchens in the game too.
Right.
Yeah, there are.
So design, how this game looks. How do you think this game looks?
I think it looked really good. Everything kind of looked like a film. Jeez, and film, and it was dark, and like the raining part of it was like part of the theme, and it like added to it.
Mood wise,
yeah, and then I think everything fit in pretty well, other than the fucking glasses thing, because I think that was the only thing that felt out of place from the rest of it.
So
but other than that, I think
art
everything,
design, you say good. What about graphics?
The graphics are really fucking good, and like the actors who played these characters look exactly like the characters in the game, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you can look up any of the characters, and they look a lot like each other. Like they did a really good job of capturing their face for the game.
One of my favorite things is those opening credits and like the way that they looked, kind of like the camera effects that they had on them and the lighting. It just looked gorgeous.
The lighting is really good.
Yeah, and I would say the cinematography of the game. I don't know what the lighting of the game or like the art design of the game is beautiful. I had minor character issues with character movement.
There were some like with the walking and
unnatural.
Yeah.
And like there were definitely flaws in some of the facial graphics, I felt like, and there always is when they're trying. I mean, someday there won't be, but in video games when they're trying to render these things in real time, there always seems to be slight issues with facial expression and stuff like that.
Did you play it on the PS3? I believe you told me you did.
Okay,
so I played it on the PS4, and a lot of like the old PS3 stuff was cleaned up a little bit.
Okay, well that's
so I felt my version might be a little bit better looking.
All right. Well, I always judge these things against like Final Fantasy 13, which
oh my god,
it's a completely different
decision
game
to do. Yeah.
No, but otherwise, like the game looked,
Mario
looked
looks
amazing.
nothing like lightning. It's fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give the design 9 out of 10. I think it was really good.
I would give it a 9 out of 10 as well. I mean, like the timing events, like the things where you're really focused on those, didn't detract away from being able to like see what was going on in the game, because they're just like little button prompts. I mean, you can see them, but like it doesn't detract from the visuals of the game at all.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really awesome.
The scene directing, besides the walking, like camera placement and direction wise, I thought it was really good.
It was awesome.
And I'm sure that this game designer wanted to be a filmmaker and couldn't, and it was just like, fine, I'll make games.
Yeah, I'll make games for Quantic Dream. They're trying to do that anywhere.
Yeah, maybe. All right, sound and music. What do you think about the sound? Voice acting and ambiance.
I really liked it. I didn't have a problem with anybody's voice acting or any of the sounds in the background at all.
Okay.
You know, I will say one thing. It was a little awkward in the very beginning when he's like calling out for his son.
Oh yeah, actually that was
like, I thought that was really.
Now that you brought that up, yeah, because like he's like
Jason.
he has them. Yeah,
sounds like a fucking.
That was actually a really good impression.
Was a really good impression.
Like he stays monotone. Like he changes it like every 3 times that he says it, and then he like goes back. Like
I almost feel like that's a function of gameplay though, since you have to press the button in order to make that happen.
Maybe, but I think it works for both because they should have had more soundtracks. If it's something that you're going to be hammering,
Okay.
Have a few more tracks on there so it doesn't
because it has the thing where the button prompt was like freaking out, like you know that it's an intense moment. So like I kept slamming that shit because I thought it was really funny, but like it wasn't supposed to be funny.
Yeah,
and like that was kind of a problem.
I had issues with some of the voice acting performances, and
who's specifically
the children.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yes, because I fucking hate Sean.
Yeah, he's a little fuckface.
I hate Sean with a passion.
I don't want, because I know that that actual kids probably voiced him, because it doesn't sound like an adult doing a kid voice.
Oh my god.
And so I don't want to be like, oh, they'll never act again, but like it just wasn't. It felt like one of the programmers' children was like, oh, we need a kid, so hey, how's Bobby doing? Is he doing some plays in elementary school? And it's like, yeah, he is. Okay, well, let's bring him in. He's gonna play Sean, and then this will play the origami killer in the past. And like whoever it is, they're just gonna be bad. I'm sorry, Dad couldn't be here. And like and also some of the dialogue with that wasn't that great. But so I mean, there may be something in there, but I just thought the kids' performances, the adults' performances, all amazing.
Yeah, they're spectacular.
Kids' performances not so good, and there's a lot of kids in this game.
That's one of the reasons I fucking hate Sean. I just hate that guy so much.
Yeah, you got to remember with some of the awkwardness of the language, though, this is a French company, so it's not a.
Is it a French game initially?
I don't think so, but there's going to be awkward dialogue in any sort of other, native speakers of another language.
Yeah, that's true. Every time I play a game that's translated from Japanese, I find something weird in there.
That's not really what we're touching on here. Most of it's just
they
bad performances.
The King of the Hill girl to come on and do the voice.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been okay. I
think the point though was to have like the actors do like the motion thing, and so I think the kids were doing it because I think
maybe
the 4 main characters were played by the people that they look
but you could
I think that's speculation.
You could still do the same thing with the kid that knows how to act,
so we might be able to find information on that later. But
if you take Bran from season 1 of Game of Thrones and put him in this game, he'd be great. He's a good actor. He's a child.
There are some children that are good at acting, like the kid in Hugo.
So you stick the fucking motion sensor on his face, you capture the little bastard doing the stuff and you put it in there.
Oh, Daddy didn't come.
Yeah, I hate his voice. He sounds so bored.
Oh man,
he is a little shit though.
And I really do feel bad giving it. Like if it were an adult voice actor, I wouldn't care. Like.
You
work better, but or like it was bad direction on the part of the director or whoever was in charge of the voice acting for the English version. I just didn't feel like the performances were good, and it was detracting. Like it was Japanese game bad. The rest of it though, fantastic. Right? And the sound department. And the fucking music!
Yeah, one of the best parts about this game.
God damn! The music is amazing for this game.
The music is really good.
This is one of the best game soundtracks I have ever heard in my fucking life. It reminded me of like a really good thriller from the 90s score.
Yeah.
And it was just so fucking perfect. And it was like really brassy and kind of scary and kind of like made you feel icky.
Yeah.
And
it did really good.
It had this tinge of sadness to it as well. I don't know how to explain like how fucking good the music is in this game, and unfortunately we had to split the sound and music in to me I split it in half as the score, but like music I would give it 10 out of 10 if I could, if not an 11 out of 10. That's how like fucking awesome I think the score is. What do you think?
I think it's fucking awesome too.
Okay.
Yeah, like everything about it other than like the children voice actors, because like fucking Sean, dude, I fucking hate Sean. He's such a little shit, and you can like hear it in his voice. And I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
But for sound, I think I'd give it a 9.
Okay.
The music was phenomenal.
Right.
Like the voice actors are amazing, other than like the children ones, and there's only like a few parts with the children.
I feel like there's more than a few. They seem to be
they're-
big.
okay, so, like,
they're
in-
big scenes at least.
Yeah, they're the big scenes in like the very beginning, and then like
In the
there's
middle.
the one with the in the middle. But,
Flashback, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Other than that, I felt like it was really good.
Music, I give a 5. Sound, I mean, other than, I guess I would give, I think I'll give it a 9 as well. Just knocking off that 1 point for the kids because everything else worked. So,
All right, I think I would echo that. I do remember some awkwardness, and I mean, I know it's something that's going to happen with people who are creating a game in English that probably spoke French first because the company is from France, I would assume.
Okay.
And there's some awkwardness to it, but even with that, there are games that don't have awkwardness really that are from Japan, even something that's totally fucking different than English. So I will knock off a point for that and the voice acting. I think I'm going to echo what you guys said. Just a 9 out of 10. The soundtrack worked perfectly from what I remember. It set the mood. It set the tone. It was memorable and it was just intense. It helped it along perfectly. Just like Joe said, a perfect 90s thriller. It's like Silence of the Lambs mode.
yeah,
with
it
the
actually
soundtracks.
sounds really close to Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
It's not as melodic as Silence of the Lambs, but it is a similar feel, definitely.
Right. With this, though, we do have one last category for the game review.
It's kind of funny because thrillers now, they're all very small soundtracks, right?
Yeah.
But like thrillers in the 90s are like,
Yeah, they were really intense.
and now it's like the action movies all have to have that score, and they did in the 90s as well. They all had really big, boisterous scores, but like scores now for movies that aren't like big, giant movies seem to be on the kind of low, like the audience doesn't have to hear the sound. Like they can't be distracted by the soundtrack. And like, I don't know, man, like when you hear the soundtrack to Silence of the Lambs, it's like, whoa. And in this game as well,
They
it's
used
like,
the soundtrack
holy shit.
really well.
And it's just like, this is the game. This soundtrack is this game. And the sound, honestly, like I think the story would be even worse without the soundtrack because the soundtrack adds so much to it. Yeah. God damn that soundtrack.
Yeah, so the final category in our rating is the replayability section. This is how likely are you to go back and play this game? What kind of a drive do you have even sitting here right now after beating it to go back and play it? I mean, do you want to see the different endings? Do you want to maybe see if you have gotten better at some of the earlier ones, see what you can unlock, new secrets, trophies, whatever? What do you think, Craig?
I think there is a value in being able to replay the game. There's tons of different, I don't know about tons, but there are different endings. There's different scenes that you can get based on your decisions. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. That adds an aspect of replayability. Trophies do too. But I think the biggest problem with this game towards replayability is the fact that it either way, like no matter what, like Joe got the bad ending and it revealed who it was at the end. So like no matter what, you're gonna find out who the killer is, and I feel like that kind of takes away from the replayability because there's no more surprise.
Yeah,
like you already know, so it's like okay.
So you're putting it like a horror movie, like a horror movie,
like
can only
with the big suspenseful part. Like once you know what that is, like at the end of Sixth Sense, if you know what the ending is, like
I've seen Sixth Sense like a million times.
I know
it's
you love that
every time.
movie, but it's like okay, well you already know, and you can still enjoy the movie, but it's like.
Well, it's fun to watch.
It's not as great as it was the first time.
Yeah, the second time is a lot of fun for Sixth Sense because you see the hints. But after that, I've only watched it twice, and I don't care. I'll watch Signs.
It's a beautiful movie.
I'll watch Signs over that.
I don't watch it for the surprise ending, frankly. But the surprise ending is like amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and it's a much better twist than this one, honestly.
Well, I was just using it as an example.
Yeah, I know you're using
it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm trying to like gauge. I'm still gauging on the story, and I should probably just leave it alone. But so, what would you give replayability then?
I would probably give it a 6.
6, okay.
Yeah.
So like you're middle ground, likely to go back.
There are certain things, I kind of want to eventually play it again. See if I can get another ending. There's a trophy for letting the killer get away. So, I just kind of want to see like how that goes, like what the bad ending is.
Yeah. And with the trophies mapping out you can kind of figure out what choices you need to make to get the trophies, and that will allow you to experience the story without having to play it 20 times,
Yeah.
That's the one concern I would have with this game going in blind. No lists, no guides. Like, what do I do to get all the stuff?
Yeah, and another thing that's really awesome is that like in the game, like there are unlocks where you can like see artwork designs or whatever, and then there's also like a making of little documentary thing in the game. See that. Well, at least I have it on the PS4 version.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on the PS3, but there is like a making of thing in it, and I thought that was really cool. So that also is a part that people can just check out, and I love that as well.
What do you think, Joe?
I'm going in a different direction than Caleb here. I think the replayability is a 10 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
The game has it set up that you can go in specific chapters and replay chapters that you want to. So it's not that you don't actually have to go and replay the whole game again. You can just replay that chapter, and then from then on, you have Jaden alive. So I'm gonna happily disagree with you and say that if it weren't for other games, I would be playing this game right now. If it weren't for these podcasts, because I think it's probably a platinum that's it's doable. I would say. I mean, as long as you just gotta keep.
It's not really a long.
If you have trouble with some of the timing puzzles, you just replay the chapter and do the timing puzzle again, and you'll get a different trophy. Because
and a different ending.
Yeah, scene. So I'm gonna go ahead and say the game makes it easy for you to replay parts because it's almost like a DVD screen at the beginning where you can just go into whatever chapter you want to. And so with the ease of the replayability, I think that's something special with this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that the second time watching The Sixth Sense is very awesome. And you could play this
but what
again
about the
and see all the clues, even though you're already suspecting.
I already saw the clues.
Okay,
knowing who it was.
All right, well that's different then.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, it wasn't like the world's most groundbreaking twist.
Yeah,
but it was. I think it was good enough that you could go back and go, oh, okay, in this scene there he really did go away for a second or whatever it is. I think replayability is a 10 out of 10, frankly.
All right. That's solid. I'm going to give it an 8. The reason why I dock off the 2 points is because I didn't play it again. I've had the game for years. I only played through it once. I do want to, though. I had a desire to join you guys in the playthrough. I wasn't able to find my copy, so I didn't. But it is intriguing, and I like the take that both of you guys make on it. I mean, we know who did it by the end, but we still don't know how the ending goes for Jaden. None of us do. He died in every one of our games. I don't know how shitty the endings can be because I did get the killer in mine. He was got. Okay. But I'd like to see how it goes. And knowing now, I don't know if I knew before or if I just decided I didn't have time for it, but knowing that I can just go into each chapter and replay it, that's a lot. That's a big driving factor for me because then I could get it down like Joe was saying and experience it fully without starting a new game necessarily. So I think it's one that I would love to return to if I had time, but sadly I do not.
Yeah, that's the same camp I was in. Like, in fact, I was like, oh, I should replay this. And then I was like, fuck, 10-2.
Yeah.
Well, my having beat it like right after I didn't have a desire to immediately play it again. Just to experience it, I was like, you know what? Maybe later down the road I'll play it again for experiencing a different ending. But I didn't feel the urge to play it again right after I had beat it.
All right, fair enough. So the official. Well, do you guys have any last thoughts, real quick?
Look, I think what they tried to do was amazing. There are really incredible things about this game, soundtrack-wise, mood-wise, and of course that has to do with the soundtrack and the visuals, which are very good. It's ingenious in its storytelling with the multiple endings and the way, and it's incredible that it works so well. But I do think that it's, despite some video gamers' thoughts, I do think that it is a very cookie cutter plot with some extra bullshit kind of thrown in, and I could see it affecting people. Like, if you lose the son at the beginning, I could see it affecting people emotionally. I mean, I was pretty close to like an emotional, like, oh wow, this is really sad at the beginning. But then you don't have that same sort of experience through the rest of the thing. At least, I didn't get the good ending. Maybe you do, but I just thought. It starts off real strong, and then it kind of it goes downhill, but it's not bad. I think it's worth playing. It's worth playing.
All right.
I would definitely agree that it is a game that's worth playing. I mean, it's a different style of game than anything that I had played before back in 2010, and I think it's the same way now. I mean, Quantic Dream has pumped out a few more games that are like it. I haven't played Beyond Two Souls yet, but it did come with the thing that I got that included Heavy Rain, so I plan to play that, see how close they are. But like, it's a different style of game, and I think that's definitely something that's worth experiencing, especially like Heavy Rain, the way that everything is, like, it's really good.
Yeah. I say leave it to the French to try new things. They may not always be perfect, but it's always the French.
They do try a lot of new things as far as like film and storytelling. Yeah. So the Nude Clan official ranking or rating for Heavy Rain is 79 out of 100.
There you go. That's nice. That seems pretty normal.
I gave it an 86 if we were to just count my opinion on the game, and Metacritic has it sitting at an 87.
Okay.
So
we were a little harsher on the game than
a lot of that was probably time of. I mean, this was a revolutionary thing, and I
try to look back at it as a thing that happened, and it's still revolutionary. I haven't played anything like this.
I totally agree. Yeah. It is revolutionary. There
are
a different
issues,
style of game,
and I might have had an easier time with it because I played a ton of God of War and a ton of games that I did timing stuff with. Maybe it was easier because of that shit. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just not remembering it. But
okay.
I thought it was pretty solid. Yeah, I guess that concludes the review.
79 out of 100. Well, we don't really have enough time in the episode.
I think that might be the worst game.
No, it's not the worst.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst game.
77 for Game Tycoon.
Yeah, that's the second worst game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Have fun having that on your record, you fuckers. Mostly you, Craig. You gave it a lower score than Joe, even though he bitched twice as much.
It's true.
I was kind of surprised when I tallied it. I was like, oh, what? I'm gonna double check.
The replayability, really.
Yeah, that's true. That was the big decider. So, guys, the next review we'll have in 2 weeks from now, the contest was between Destroy All Humans,
Siphon Filter, Watch Dogs, and the Game of Thrones Telltale game.
And Destroy All Humans won by 2 votes, counting the votes that these guys would have thrown in for Siphon Filter. So, god damn it, guys.
Man, that means that he's just going to toss it in there again. Why would you betray him in such a way?
I guess a lot of people must have loved Destroy All Humans, but I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played it in years, and that's the one me and Cameron will talk about in 2 weeks. So,
all right.
Also, we're going on a big camping trip in those two during the next episode. So 2 weeks out directly would be this episode, but we don't have it. I'm not sure if we want to do.
It'll be in 3 weeks.
Okay, do you want to do 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
I was thinking we could do that, or we could record it earlier.
You got to beat that game earlier if you want to do that. And you'd have to convince Cameron to do the same.
I don't think it's a long game. So you might be able to do that.
I don't know. So this is what I was thinking. So we got to figure out what we're going to do for the episode that's going to come out when we're gone. I was thinking we record us playing a game and just have it as a bonus episode for those who really want to hear it. And I was thinking D&D.
D&D being our special episode?
For the first time. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be nice. I actually do want to have that showing people our first experience with D&D.
Yeah, they'll hear it.
Yeah, that would be cool. So Destroy All Humans, I'm looking on how long to beat, and it's 10.5 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's doable.
It's pretty short. I'll talk to Cameron, though, and we'll let you guys know. And we might even still do the D&D as a bonus episode, just an unnamed, unnumbered.
I was going to call it, Nude Clan Plays or something like that.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would like to do that.
It as a numbered episode.
I'd like to do that as a thing that we do, if we can, when we have time.
But none of us have ever played D&D before. I have a starter set here. Gammon Stark, one of our listeners, did offer to DM for us. And
really?
And I told them, we're going to try it ourselves first, and then, well, if we like it, like if it's a thing, then yeah, hell yeah, why not play with Gammon Stark,
Yeah, that sounds like the part that I really don't want to do.
I told Joe that he should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
He
it would
loves
be
reading rules.
I'll be DM.
I could make some pretty sweet stories, I'm sure, but I don't know if I want
This
to.
one comes with a prepackaged story. So
Yeah,
we'll be
if
able to
you
make
want.
one anyway.
If you want. The true DMs, though, they make it up on the spot.
Yeah, well, we'll see what
Basically,
happens.
he's just the fucking guy who yells it out in the street. What are those guys called? Herald. He's the herald for the
town
story.
crier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching videos of people playing D&D to try to get like.
It's strange
to
and it's
understand
huge. I agree. It's like the videos don't really help me very much. It's just they just kind of do their thing to the story, and you roll die and decide who wins the attacks. And it's odd, but it sounds.
I think it sounds
like it could be really
cool, and it sounds like it'd be fun. It is, however, the lowest level you can go. I remember in high school I had this whole thing where I was like, I'm not going to play Magic. That's low. Like, I'm into some like things. Like, I'm into Final Fantasy, and I watch these sci-fi movies. I watch The Matrix. I'm a crazy Matrix fan. And I thought, like, that's my nerd level, which is like out of 10, we'll call actually 10 should probably be like normal person, like has a job, has kids, cares about like have like girls and shit like that. Then we go down, and maybe I was like a I don't know, 7 or something. I guess I was in theater and shit like that, so maybe I was like a 6, right, like kind of add
flaming 6.
And then I would say the next drop down, probably 5, would probably be card games that aren't Magic, and like a really big board game fan or something like that. And then we
Magic
go
was
down,
like the first card game.
and then we go down to Magic, and that's like a 3. That's pretty low.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh was always, to me, it was more acceptable than Magic for some reason. I don't know.
D&D, I mean, if it's a 1 to 10 scale, I think D&D is a 2.
Yeah.
And I think LARPing is a 1.
Oh yeah, that's right, LARPing.
So
what about LARPing while playing D&D?
that is what LARPing is live action D&D.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I had no fucking idea. I thought it was
You
just
dress up in your character and you are your character.
Wow.
That's
Okay, that makes it a little bit more cool, I guess.
more cool?
Well, at least it's something that you do outside of that.
I
It's
still
like-
have social stigmas within me, and my judgments on geekiness sometimes come out, despite me hosting these shows. So like when I think of LARPing and I think of cosplaying, I think, ew. Like, that's like my initial reaction. I just kind of have to warm to it and go, okay, the costumes are cool. All right, yeah. Like, that took a lot of work, and yeah, whatever. And then I think, but it took so much work, and you're that into it? Like, that part of me is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So those social stigmas are still embedded in me, and I really like the do not judge attitude is something I've never subscribed to, and it's difficult for me.
Well, it's against human nature.
It's
just
it's 100% against human nature.
If you're, although you're still a simpleton, if that's the only thing you base it off of is the initial judgment, that's where I'm against it. I mean,
am I not the one who offered to play D&D?
No, you are. You are.
I was honestly surprised when he's
LARPing.
like when we went to the game store, like Joe's like, he picked it up and he's like, should I get this? And I was like, really?
I would have been like, no. Let's get a board game.
Yeah, if you want to, I wouldn't mind giving it a try.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like it was a surprise that Joe was like wanting to do that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the real reason why I was wanting to do it. I listened to a podcast.
What? Oh my God!
I
You listened to a podcast?
I
That is
listened to a
first.
podcast with 2 screenwriters who talk about screenwriting all day. It's called the Script Notes Podcast. And they talked about D&D and how they were huge D&D fans and how D&D kind of like helped them with storytelling almost. And I was like, what? What the fuck are they talking about? I didn't realize as the dungeon master
you make the
you
story.
make up the story.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that as the characters, like you make up your character more than just stats. Like you yourself, Craig, make up the background to your character.
Wow, your guy sucks.
So
You don't even know my character. Shut the fuck up.
I have an idea.
and like
you don't.
some groups, like they stay in character as they play the game.
Yeah.
So that's just like, oh, I didn't realize that this was like a whole storytelling exercise thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I should Craig Mazin and John August can do it. I mean, why not me? Right?
I think I'm gonna show up with like a wizard hat and a fucking staff.
No,
I'm gonna be like super into it. I'm gonna be the most normal looking person with the most outrageous garb when we stream these. I go over there with my orb. A fucking scrying glass.
And get the fucking hat for like Mickey A's got on in the Fantasia.
Yeah. All droopy and starred.
Yes. Is that your Mickey? Because that sounded like your Mustaine.
That's like that's a Mustaine, yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. I cast slow, dude. We gotta talk for a second about because I'm reading this D&D book back here. And it is like the fantasy, it's deep fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
It's druids and it's paladins and it's fucking bards. And it's, well, I don't think there's any bards in this edition, but I've heard of bards. And there's hobbits and shit like that. So, there's everything. This is deep fantasy. There's something about the Lord of the Rings, which is the fantasy book that I subscribe to, and like Harry Potter and shit, where it's like it's approachable. The way that Lord of the Rings is approachable is because it's so deep, it's so steeped in mythology, and it sounds like that mythology. Like I'm reading Beowulf right now, and it sounds like Beowulf. It doesn't sound like Robert Jordan, and it doesn't sound like a cheap paperback high fantasy book. It sounds like something. And that's something that's special with Lord of the Rings, and it might have something to do with his language and all that other stuff. Like his prose writing is very unique in that fashion, and it seems more adult, and it doesn't seem as childlike
as some fantasy can be.
Fantasy, but I'm looking at these books, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how deep fantasy are we getting? Game of Thrones is great because there's only 3 dragons. It's not like, oh, and yes, the Dragonlands with the famous wizard who...
but there is a guy who alters time and space, so that's a big wrench. But, we're just barely learning about that.
I think that shit's awesome.
I do, too. No, I know. I
but
agree,
it is put in slowly. These D&D
it's not like, boom, right out of the gate. You're fucking dragon flying by.
You're balls deep in the fantasy with these D&D things.
You're balls deep, and you are the seed that was just released
I am
into the
dwarf of the kingdom Lefaria, and I have come on a quest. It's like that kind of
I can't wait to get Cameron on it. He's like getting super ADD about the map. He's like, no, Lefaria's over here, dude. They said to the west. It's east.
The grid.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Karen gets kind of anal about that shit.
I could see it, yeah.
So I'm kind of like I'm into the fantasy that's not quite as deep. I realize Lord of the Rings is deep, but it's not.
Yeah.
I'm rereading Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan because I got halfway through and was bored to fucking death. And what's good about that series is it does introduce things slowly in that first book, and without that I would have been like, fuck this book. I can't remember what book I was reading. I think it was Elantris. I think it was. I was like, I read the first chapter. I'm like, this is too much. Like, I can't read this.
Oh, that's a great book.
Oh, yeah. Elantris is good.
It may be a great book, but once there's more than 3 fantasy terms that the author pulled out of his ass per chapter, more than that, I'm out.
Well, it explains them later.
All the made up fucking names, and it's just a problem with that. So we're gonna try D&D as a storytelling exercise, and I ask you guys to if I'm gonna DM, it's gonna be character based story and not go do there may be quests, but it may not be the quest for the High Dragon, for the Princess Lord of yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's like when you're watching Game of Thrones, it's steeped in medieval stuff. So there's a sense of realism to it. It's not, let's just take the fantasy parts of Tolkien out. Let's not worry about I don't know. Do you get what I mean? I mean,
I understand.
You love fantasy, though.
I do.
Yeah. So you don't have the same issues I have with it.
No, I don't.
Okay. So you're into the high fantasy.
Yes.
Okay.
High fantasy is a really pretentious thing, but yes, yeah, I'm into that stuff too. That's what Game of Thrones is considered.
is, but once again, it's more based in character and story, and like
it doesn't really focus on the fact that there's dragons.
It's
and
not
magical people.
It's not
and
go do the
zombies.
quest to get the crystal.
Well, yeah, but you guys haven't read the books either, so
That's true. I have. I did read the first one.
It's not as much into that as Lord of the Rings might be, or other books that I have read, but they do have similar tropes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Game of Thrones like shatters a lot of stuff like that, though, and they just
it doesn't really care about
throw
it.
stuff out of left field, and it is different. But I mean, like the Malorian and the Bulgariad series, those are kind of deep. I don't know. They're pretty standard storytelling, though, so I don't know. It's a genre that honestly most people probably love, even if they don't realize it, just because it's a hero's journey story mostly every time.
Yeah, it is.
It's cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It does get old after a little while, though, and you're like, Jesus, it's going to be this guy is this character, this guy's Gandalf, this guy's Aragorn.
Yeah, Eye of the World.
Yeah.
It's Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, no shit.
I will continue Fires of. There are good things about that series, though. The series, the Wheel of Time series, does get real fucking good about once per book.
Well, sweet. We'll have to hear more updates on that when you finish up 5.
Yeah. There's so much fucking. I hate the Aes Sedai, and it's half.
Everybody
the
hates
book.
the Aes Sedai.
It's half the book. Like half the pages are devoted to these people that all hate each other and don't do anything. That's as far as what I can tell. Like, let's go town to town and complain about other Aes Sedai. That's the plot of the 5th book. Yeah,
part of it. It's kind of like that. Yeah,
exactly. Like all I want to hear about is Randall Thor. That's all I want to hear about is Randall Thor and maybe Matt and Perrin.
Yep.
And it's just because they set them up as the cool characters at the beginning, and all the cool shit happens around those 3 characters, and they never get to them until the end of the book, and Rand will do something. Right? Yeah. Pretty standard. Does it continue with that pattern?
It does. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
Although it does become more heavy with those characters in later books.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I can't fucking stand the Aes Sedai.
You just got to keep going, man.
Yeah, this is a deep conversation.
Just got to get through.
I do know, based on my good, because Gamma Stark's now a friend of mine on Goodreads. I think he has read all those books.
Oh, good.
So I saw his ratings as I was looking through stuff yesterday. Okay, this is getting way off topic. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Nude Clan. Make sure you tell Cameron that he's a big dickhole for not showing up at this episode.
On his
birthday or not.
Weak.
He wouldn't have skipped work on his birthday, but he skips the Nude Clan. Look at that.
He's got to.
You guys can go to nudeclan.net, which will take you over to ultimatefinalfantasy.com. Once again, we are working on a website for Nude Clan, and it's going to be fucking awesome. So stay tuned for that. You can go to facebook.com/Nude Clan Podcast. It's nude spelled NEWD for Facebook. You can also go to twitch.tv/Nude Clan Gaming. All right.
Yep.
Watch us all stream.
You can watch us stream, mostly Caleb Craig, but he's
doing it way more than you guys.
He's also playing way more games than us based upon the
pace, man.
The hog status. Guys, remember to gather up your hog status points and tweet them to me or put them in the forums for me to see so that I can report them next time.
Yes.
I'm excited to see some hog status numbers. Ooh. Yeah. And what else we got? Oh, you can tweet me at Joseph Vigilante.
Me at Obsidian Ba.
Me at UFF Podcast. Check out our other show, Ultima Final Fantasy. It's a great Final Fantasy podcast. Super sexy, swinging fan fiction. Sometimes has good fanfic. Most of the time, bad. Well, that's kind of what we aim for.
But it's bad, funny bad.
Yeah, funny bad. Joe and his buddy Drew run a Godzilla podcast that I'm thinking of appearing on probably more often. I need to watch more movies, even if they suck, so I'll watch those with you guys. How about that? Yeah. Salt.
All right, you guys.
Just before we go, guys, please leave a review on iTunes. We have not gotten any in a while.
2 months.
We fucking want that shit. Gotta leave a review. You get stuff sometimes.
Yeah, well, the next...
All right. This show, sorry for cutting you off, Caleb. Do you want to go ahead?
No, go for it.
Okay, sometimes you get pissed off when I cut you off, and I'm sorry.
Too late.
He's already mad.
Yeah, he's already I can
plotting
see him
revenge.
seething. for me cutting him off. No, like, this podcast is free. We don't even have a Patreon for Nude Clan. This podcast is free. So you guys, the way that you can support our podcast right now and say, you know, I would say, you know, give us just a tiny little something in return is to just leave an iTunes review.
Yeah.
You know, we do this every week for you guys. We just want to know that you're there. And the way that we know that you're there, forum, activity, and iTunes.
Yeah. Leave reviews, ask questions, guys. We love interacting with you. Just come on. We need more of this.
Yeah, it's the fun part. It's what brings us back every week.
Yeah, you get the movie
motivating.
that we watch if you leave a good review.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, every time you cut me off, it cuts like a week out of your life. I've like seen into the future when you normally would die, and each time I'm like, check.
Yeah, it's just like 1 week. Whenever you're sleeping, he like sneaks over and lights a cigarette in your mouth.
Take it.
Like, man, that's the thing.
I am out of breath.
Like, someday he may die from this.
No, yeah, we really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we were saying, the movie, the next one is what? Dragon something?
Double Dragon.
Double Dragon.
Yeah.
From the winner of the last review on, we'll take the new reviews, and whoever has the best, most succinct, you know,
most beautiful
review, we will send that movie to for free. And signed by the clan, even. That's what more could you ask for?
Yeah. What more could you ask?
Yeah, Ultima, we don't do jack for reviews anymore. They're still coming in, so come on, guys.
Well, we do punish them if they don't.
That's true.
Please don't make us punish you for not.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if we don't get a new review this week, I think Ozzy Osbourne's going to come and make an appearance.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, a little bit of Black Sabbath.
Sounds hot.
And you get to hear my fucking terrible drumming. So, for like 3 minutes. It's bad, guys. It's bad. If you haven't heard it on Ultima, it's bad. So, we'll see you guys next time.
Enjoy the nude.
Live always in the nude.
May the list go on. Fuck off.
Yeah!